if he gets up, he probably wins the fight. I can't believe it!
Unbelievable! Richard Steele stopped the fight with fewer than 5 seconds to go. You're gonna watch Lou Duva go crazy now.
There is a book about this fight. Meldrick Taylor wrote it himself. He called it 2 Seconds from Glory. Not from victory, not from the championship, from glory. That is the word he chose, because that is the word that captures what was taken, or saved, or lost, depending on who you ask and what you believe. On the night of March 17th, 1990, inside the Las Vegas Hilton, this is one of the most debated moments in the history of professional boxing. Not because of what happened in 12 rounds of extraordinary fighting, but because of what happened in the final 2 seconds. And the single question that has never been fully answered: was he robbed or was he saved?
Never been down before.
He's about to go down again. Chavez landing with left and right.
To understand the magnitude of what happened that night, you need to understand who both men were. Meldrick Taylor was from Philadelphia, a city that produces boxing champions the way other cities produce nothing in particular. He trained at the Joe Frazier Gym. He compiled an amateur record of 99 wins and 4 losses. At 17 years old, 17, he walked into the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics and won the gold medal in the featherweight division without losing a single bout in the tournament. He was called the Kid, and the name fit, not because he was young, but because of the way he moved. Fast, instinctive, playful, like someone who had been blessed with reflexes that belonged to a different species.
Scientific counter punching. These are just 2 guys exchanging punches. You hit me, I'll hit you. And that was not the way this fight figured to go. Taylor led with his right hand. They want to avoid the McGirt counter punch, the left hook count.
Backwards now, and I don't know if he's going to make the 12-round bell to end it. He is tremendously tired. Gamely battled.
And then there was Julio Cesar Chavez, from Culiacan, Sinaloa, Mexico. Born into extreme poverty, a family that lived in an abandoned boxcar on the outskirts of the city. Boxing was not an option. It was the only option. He turned professional at 18 and fought his way to 3 world titles in 3 weight classes. He was 68-0. 68 fights, not 1 loss, not 1 draw. More than that, he was considered the best fighter on the planet, pound for pound, regardless of weight class. The man who never stopped coming, whose chin absorbed what others' entire careers were built upon, who had a will so absolute that opponents broke against it not from the punches, but from the certainty that the punches would never end. The fight was billed thunder meets lightning. Taylor was lightning, Chavez was thunder, the speed against the power. The speed against something that would just keep coming regardless of how fast you were. Both men were undefeated. Both men were world champions. Both men believed they were going to win. And going into March 17th, 1990, the boxing world genuinely did not know what was going to happen. The Vegas odds had Chavez as a moderate favorite. The experts were split. The fight was scheduled for 12 rounds, and the result would crown an undisputed champion. The opening bell rang, and Taylor immediately answered every question the doubters had been asking.
It exactly smooth.
Chavez scored with a left hook. Taylor with a left after he missed.
Chavez not really doing much. He's trying to see, and then what he'll do, he'll pull on the attack.
Taylor starting with the jab. Chavez is using more right-hand lead. There he goes, hitting Chavez to the hip. It's dripping out from between his mouth guard.
Constant drops. I think what's happening here is the fact that because he's...
But Taylor now beginning to land with more consistency. It's doing the damage for Chavez now. A solid left inside.
His tempo.
Taylor lands a vicious right hand. His opponent off and fire the left hook. He did it successfully just about 10 seconds ago. They're fighting in the zone in the middle of the ring. Chavez lands a solid right hand.
But you see the frustration on Chavez's face. He can't get set.
For the first 4 rounds, Taylor was boxing a ghost. Chavez was there, landing, the power shots connecting. leaving marks, accumulating damage in the way only a fighter with 55 knockouts to his name accumulates damage. But Taylor was building a lead that looked insurmountable. He was outpunching the pound-for-pound king.
Well, Ray Leonard, would you say a near-perfect performance so far from Meldrick Taylor?
It's a very good performance by Meldrick Taylor. He's been... Chavez appears to be looking for one particular punch.
Taylor comes back with a bristling uppercut. And another flurry for Meldrick Taylor. Changing to the body effectively. They trade punches inside, and Meldrick seemed to wobble for just a second. But getting against fighters when he can back them up against the ropes.
Chavez off balance.
Down in the 30s. So he has not been as effective as he expects to be.
The legs of Meldrick Taylor. Still a lot of bounce. And that gets back to the fact that Chavez just did. Chavez buckled.
Chavez is damaged by the first minute of this round. Solid left hook inside by Taylor. Chavez continues to try to come back with the left to the body.
Taylor's going through the body with two hands.
He's been nothing short of great in that. In every round so far, Taylor has thrown more punches. He's carried out George Benton's game plan to perfection.
Whoa, beautiful
Trading
combination.
punches inside, and Chavez again seems to wobble slightly as Taylor lands at will. Brilliant stuff from Meldrick Taylor. Chavez on the verge of going down. He slips a punch.
Incredible fight by Meldrick Taylor.
By the 11th round, Taylor nearly walked into Chavez's corner after the bell.
But Chavez shows a commitment. We can see that Chavez is in any way disillusioned about the necessity of a knockout.
It's out of time.
Three minutes. That was all Meldrick Taylor needed. 3 minutes to become the undisputed light welterweight champion of the world. 3 minutes to prove that the speed, the combinations, the Olympic gold medal, the undefeated record, all of it was real. Chavez needed a knockout. It was the only way.
Both of Taylor's eyes are closing. The blood continues to flow from his nose and his mouth.
Play it safe and box.
That is a tired Meldrick Taylor slipping to the canvas. Maybe 2 minutes left in Julio Cesar Chavez's historic unbeaten streak.
Taylor. He's finding like he's behind on points.
Oh, they're both tired. More pawing than punching now, at a time when he needs the best. A solid left hook from Meldrick Taylor.
And then, with 25 seconds remaining, Chavez landed the right hand.
If he gets up, he probably wins the fight. I can't believe it.
Unbelievable! Richard Steele stopped the fight with fewer than 5 seconds to go.
He got up at 6. Taylor got up, used the ropes to pull himself vertical, steadied himself. There were 12 seconds left on the clock. He had taken the knockdown. He was upright. He was, by any measure, still a standing fighter. Referee Richard Steele administered the mandatory 8 count. Then he looked at Taylor directly and asked him twice, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" The official time, 2 minutes and 58 seconds of the 12th round. 2 seconds remaining. HBO's Jim Lampley said what millions of people watching at home were already saying. 2 seconds. Taylor never responded to Steele's question. His eyes were unfocused. He was looking toward his corner but not seeing it clearly. He had been dropped, swallowed blood for 12 rounds, had his eye socket fractured, and his body had absorbed 68 rounds of punishment from the most relentless puncher in the sport. Dr. Flip Homansky, the ringside physician, examined Taylor immediately after the fight was stopped and sent him directly to the hospital. His assessment was unambiguous. Taylor received a blood transfusion at the hospital that night. 2 pints. He had lost 2 pints of blood inside a boxing ring, and nobody in the arena, Nobody watching on HBO could see it. Richard Steele was asked about the stoppage in the ring seconds after it happened. And here's where boxing has been arguing for 35 years. Because both things are true simultaneously. Richard Steele stopped a fight with 2 seconds left. With an Olympic gold medalist, a man who had outboxed the pound-for-pound king of the world for 11 rounds in 2 minutes. 2 seconds from a championship he had spent his entire career building toward. And that same man went to the hospital and lost 2 pints of blood and left with a fractured eye socket. Harold Lederman, who had Taylor winning the fight on his scorecard, said Steele made the right call. He didn't respond to Steele's question. It's a shame it had to happen, but I agree with Steele 100%. The IBF, who also believed Taylor had won the fight on points, ordered a rematch anyway, citing that Steele had failed to direct Chavez to a neutral corner before beginning the count. The boxing world split, still has not agreed, probably never will. What happened to Meldrick Taylor after that night is the part of this story that most people don't know. He was rushed back too quickly, too soon after the damage his body had absorbed. He fought Terry Norris for the WBC light middleweight title, and Norris knocked him out in the 4th round. The punches Taylor took from Chavez had left something behind that didn't show up until Norris hit him. He won the WBA welterweight title in 1991, lost it in 1992, fought Chavez again in 1994. And this time, the version of Taylor that showed up was not the version that had outboxed the pound-for-pound king for 11 rounds. Chavez stopped him in the 8th. The man who had once made Chavez look ordinary could no longer make him miss. Taylor fought on and off until 2002. He was never again what he was on March 17, 1990. In the rounds before the final one, he wrote the book eventually, 2 Seconds from Glory. Not 2 seconds from the title. Not 2 seconds from victory. Glory. Because that is the word. For what a man spends his whole life building toward in a sport that gives you no guarantee, no safety net, no certainty, only the fight in front of you and the clock on the wall. And on the night of March 17th, 1990, the clock and the fight converged on a single moment that boxing has been debating ever since. 35 years later, Richard Steele has no regrets. He stands by the decision. It was not worth a man's life, he said. It's always better for him to come back another day. Meldrick Taylor came back. He always came back. That was who he was. The kid from Philadelphia who trained at the Joe Frazier gym and won Olympic gold at 17 and outboxed the greatest fighter alive for 11 rounds in 2 minutes. He just never came back the same. And somewhere in Las Vegas on a March night in 1990, with 2 seconds on the clock and a referee with his hands spread wide in a crowd that could not agree on what it had just witnessed, Meldrick Taylor's career split into what was and what could have been.
If he gets up, he probably wins the fight.